I'm clicking on these on the assumption that they're wanting to play a longer game. It's their seek. So we're going to block the pawn and develop the knight as we do. What we're working on today? Well, today we are just going to see what happens and hopefully react accordingly, or make the opponent react unaccordingly. It's more positive if we're making them react unaccordingly, because then you feel like we're winning the tempo. Maybe looking to do this, but they're not allowing us that, so they're going to get rid of our knight. Going to take, just attack the pawn and give them things to think about, but he's elevating his pawns as we speak. Tempting to try and do this, but the knight's just going to take. I am going to castle into the force of these pawns. Idea being, I'm thinking, is that, well, if the pawns are here, then his other pieces aren't really going to get into the game because there's no space for them to attack us. So let's just see if we can hit this. I don't think they're taking. I think they just want to keep crowding out the area. Our bishop does have this space to move here. And as we said, now really their pieces are not going to be facing our king. They've just got pawns. So I'm hoping we can make that work for us. Let's get going. In fact, let's move this pawn first. So now they're just chomping at the bit to try and squeeze their pieces in. Pawn's going to be hitting, but we want the pawn to go there because it's blocking their pieces from coming in. We can slide here, tempting it maybe, but maybe not do that. Probably just come all the way back. Let's get this knight out. So we're not ignoring this. We're trying to use the psychology of, well, they're just going to use up all their space advantage from their major pieces, and we're just blocking down. So only piece that's really going to be traversing anywhere is the dark square bishop along this area. So I'm feeling our king is fairly safe unless there's some sacrifices that I'm missing. So I'm happy and feel now we can start mobilizing. But is it too early? Takes. Probably too early. Does give our queen a bit of space to come here to x-ray through to the king. Don't think there's anything else for us to do on this side. Anything else for the knight? I think we're going to do this. And then maybe potentially try and start pushing here. I did think that was going to happen because it's an x-ray through. So I'm going to block this pawn from moving momentarily. And look to see if we can start mobilizing here. I'm going to take. So he's bringing this one back into line because that's the double pawn. So everything's locked down. And like we said, the only piece that really can come around here and look to cause potentially any trouble is this bishop. With support of the queen maybe. So if the queen got to, say, this position, maybe to this position here. So let's look at the picture. Comes around. That's even if the queen got there first. So let's look at that. If the queen gets to here and the bishop supporting it, could be leaning on us a little bit with this area. So still plumping to carry on pushing here. Just don't want to miss a beat. Knight's not doing anything. Let's push. And looks like there's an en passant situation going, so I think we will do that because we don't want it locked down if we don't have to have it locked down. And then knight's got danceability a little bit. It's hitting our queen. Move the queen back. Now the knight's hasn't got the danceability, but seeing as he's keeping the pawn there, we're not losing out on too much. Oh, the knight's moved now, so we're going to move this here and see if we can utilize the danceability of the knight. Maybe try and free up some space for the bishop. But it's a bad bishop at the end of the day for us, so if we can get it sighted here maybe, then at least we're linking the rooks up. So key thing is they're going to want to move the king out of the way. They want to get the queen across here. They want to get the queen somewhere along here. I think that looks more devastating, I think. Not a checkmate per se, because we've still got the pieces here guarding, but we're not doing anything with these pieces at the moment. Bishop's jammed in, knight's jammed in. We're trying to give it a bit of space, trying to give the bishop a bit of space, but it is a bad bishop at this moment. So they're not wearing any of that. They're looking to probably put two pieces on here. So looking for the queen to come and put two pieces on here. While they're doing that, I think we're going to jump in here because the queen can come and support. So I'm going to... Ooh, but before we do that, he's actually putting a 2-on-1 with the bishop and the rook. So he's got all of this coming into play. Interesting situation. Right, so only piece that can go there is this pawn supporting this pawn. He comes here. We've got two pieces protecting this back pawn. Does still give us space to get the knight moving here to get a bit of danceability. Although it does free. Ooh, they've moved. Going to continue with our motion of. I'm not sure if we're jumping here now because it takes. Do I take with this one or do I take with the center one? I feel probably more so taking with the center one. Just to keep these pawns locked in. Yes, he'll have this semi-pass thing, but maybe the bishop can get into the game a bit and act as a pawn and become a good bishop. So I think we would take with this pawn if he does take. If they allow us that. They may suddenly wake up and go, oh, we need to get the queen around here. We need to get it here on this diagonal. Doing something. I know it's nothing major, but it just feels like we could get. Move the bishop. So we're going to bring the knight here, like we said. Now the bishop's not taking it, so we're not getting the pawn in this position. It's gone x-raying through to our queen, sorry. Always getting them mixed up. So now we could push onto their pawn. Knights hunt the bishops in our mantra, so we could take this bishop off the board. But that's a bad bishop. It's like our bishop here. It's just biting on granite. So this is a very good knight. I think we should keep this knight on the board using that principle. Pushing the pawn doesn't have to take. We push past, gives them something to think about. It's not going anywhere, but it's giving them something to think about. If he does take, we take, knight takes, creates a bit of a havoc. He's got two bishops in a lockdown game, which is not a very good picture for them. So our knight is key, really. So let's just push this pawn. And they are coming for it. So we will get this opportunity, it looks like. We could take. There's these options. Yep, alright. So that's our original thing of waiting for them to do that. But this is new, so we could take the pawn. Because the rook's got no defense. Does he take or does he just drop back? Then we take again. So he's not going to do that. Takes. Rook takes. Queen takes. Messes up my pawn structure though, doesn't it? Then he goes like this. Then we go like this. Then he takes the pawn back. Oh, we lose out. Well, we don't lose out, but we will be a pawn there. He takes. We take. He takes. Knight's still there. I thought he might have taken the knight. Maybe. Knight can come here, putting a check on the queen, but I don't think that's too good really, because the queen can just come and attack it wherever it's going to attack it. Come back again, it goes there, and then we go here. What do we do? Push past? I think pushing past is better, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's better. Simply because he's got the bishops on the board, and we are going to do what we said we were going to do, which is this. Still got a lockdown type of position. He's got a dark square bishop, and his pawns are on dark squares. He does have this rook now that's in a bit of trouble at the moment. If they forget themselves, we will be able to take this rook off the board with the queen. I'm hoping they don't see it, and we can get a bit of magic in the game. Oh. Right, okay, so we can put a check on the king. I think the rook will come. I don't think they're going to look to exchange. And then we can put a check on the king here. And then he goes here. Then we're just putting checks on. So maybe it goes for an exchange because it's even Stevens with the pieces at the minute. Is this position any good for us? We did say that this bishop has got play now, and it could act as a pawn here. I do think bringing the queen here, and if he goes for the exchange, then we just bring the bishop here, and it really is locked down central. Could be a draw. Let's just put this check on the king. I think they will go for the exchange, but I might be wrong. They might be feeling brave. Yeah, they're going for the exchange. Is there anything we can get this rook off the board? Just saw that. Looks like we can get the rook off the board. Our king is not in any immediate threats. So I'm going to take. That's my surprise silence at finding this in a lockdown position. I'm feeling really good about it, but I'm just staying quiet because I don't see any checks on our king. I think that was a half decent maneuver. Queen comes back to defend, doesn't take the rook off the board. Now we should be flying here. He's moving quick now. He's attacking our rook. Our bishop wanted to come here. And we can take his bishop off the board because we will have a check on his. But before we do that, we don't want to lose the rook, do we? Here, puts the check on the king. He could go for the exchange, which we would take. But he could just move that out of the way. So then he wins a tempo and our queen needs to move. We could put another check on the king. Which would mean either the rook coming to defend, which allows us a bit of tempo to move the bishop out of the way so the rook is defending. Yeah, okay, let's try that. So he does move there. So we're going to do what we said, which is putting the check on the king here, trying to win that tempo to get the bishop here. There's no further checks because I don't know where he was going to move. We could go there, but we would lose our queen. So we do win the tempo to save the rook. Queen's still coming down because he's mortar set. He's coming down for the bishop. Looks very angry, doesn't he? Right, so that means our queen can put a check on his king. And it can put a check on the king here. The rook will come and defend. And when we can't come here. If we go here, then his king drops down. Or goes here. It's dropped down. It's moving dead quick now. This pawn can be taken. So it looks like we're gaining some checks. Does he run out? Not going to run out. He's got up and down business though. Got up and down. And we got a checkmate. No, yeah, it's a checkmate. I'm going to check the analysis on this one. Because buzzing with that one, but let's see what the computer does now. Start laughing in my face now. Let's have a look. Okay, so we came out, attacked, and we were talking about trying to be giving the opponent something to think about. It's nice to sit back and block off their attempts, but it's also good to be positive and proactive in giving them things to think about as well. So we had our story about the pawns pushing down. This is what I'm really wanting to just check with the computer. Is it right? It felt right for me based off of the games I have played where players do play like this. The pawns end up basically being your own defender, so you may as well just use them because their pieces can no longer get down, so they're almost kind of trapping themselves out of putting a checkmate on you with their minor or major pieces. So we castled. It doesn't like the castling. It's saying don't castle into that trouble. It's saying queen. Oh man, don't tell me there's a... Oh, look at that. Oh man, there's a quicker way. Well, not a quicker way, but at least you've got to check on first. Ooh, that's a hurting check, then it? He has to move somewhere. Ah, king e2. Is there a follow-on though from that though? Knight c5. It's not a big follow-on, it's just a check on the king. Yeah, I did miss that. That's nice. That's very nice. So our story was just let them keep pushing the pawns down, and we're not too bothered about any of that. And it's giving them a plus 0.4. And it doesn't like any of this movements that I'm doing. Oh, do you know, it's saying h5. I don't think it's winning anything major. It's still +1 though, so it's saying h5. Ooh, and it's saying I brought mine all the way back, didn't I? If it did h5, yeah, I'd probably bring it all the way back. And then the G is taking, so it's opening up space in front of our king. Ooh, it's going with the rook taking. Interesting. Going with the rook taking. And then it's got queen g4 with a check. Oh, shabam. No, it's not a check actually, because the pawn's there. So it's +1 for them at the minute. Let's bring it down. Going for a knight c6 thing. Get my numbers. Right, so it's bringing the knight up here, which looks like it's doing nothing. It's opening up space around our king. Interesting. So could we not just push the pawn? Or is he looking to double up? He's looking to double up. Obviously, I don't like playing against the computer. He doubles up. Now the queen can't go anywhere, can it? Looks like we're going to get squished. Knight here. No. I know it's saying knight c6, but I'm thinking my human brain. I'm not thinking that when they're coming attacking my king area. No funky sacrifice. Knight takes, pawn takes. No. We can't do this anymore because the rook is there. And what about the queen coming here, just protecting this pawn? Bring the queen here, protecting the pawn. I don't know if it's working. It's giving them more, plus 1.7. And then it's saying e4. Is that a move that a human would make? Yeah, so it's hitting the rook. Obviously we're going to take. It brings the knight into the game. Any other funky sacrifice situation at all? No, because the rook is there. Takes, knight takes, obviously. It's 1.7, 1.8, 1.6, hovering around that area. Okay, so we're not suffering badly at the minute, but I'm getting more deeper into the computer world now. So it would be manageable if they did do that type of stuff. We are still finding the answers to their attacks, but I'm not going any further against the computer, because I am definitely nowhere near good enough to play against the stockfish type scenario. So we will go back to where we were. So we pushed. Computer's not a fan of that. Fair enough. Okay, that's in the mental Rolodex. Boom, boom. Saying H6. You see, I was thinking that or that. I thought this more so because then I've got more pieces to work with. If they did capture and stuff. That was my logic. Obviously, it's not the right logic. So it was going for H6. 1.1, 1.2, 1.2, yeah, okay. And it's saying take. Because the queen is supporting. Then it's going F5 with a nice position for the bishop. Still plus 1 point something for them. Caused a bit of disruption towards our king. Right, so they had some play, better responses. So we have to be mindful next time to think a little bit more clear, even though it's not a good position in the first place, really. So probably avoid. So from this point here, castling, probably not castling into the trouble, even though we thought, well, there's nothing to do with this, you know, we don't need to worry about it. Probably need to say, well, okay, they are pushing the pawns, and the computer's basically saying, well, they are extending the pawns, but they're losing space advantage in terms of being able to attack your king in the current position. If you potentially get queenside castled, you should be okay. I think that's what it's trying to say to me. Or is it saying that I castled too early? It is going with this check. It's saying, yes, let's get this blocked off. So I understand that now. And it's blocking this pawn off here. It's blocking this pawn off. So it's taking some proactive action to prevent certain things from occurring. But he does have the knight. That's just going to see the queen off, isn't it? King e2. And then it's got this knight c5 thing. I'm not sure because I've already brought this out. I'm not going to be going and there, am I? I don't think. I do like my knights, but I'm thinking let's get activated. If I did that queen move, then I'd probably bring this knight here and probably look to queenside castle. If I was using the principle of, you know, the pawns being blocked, if I had done this queen move, which is a nice move, but I'm just now looking how do we continue from there as a human. So it's not frowned on, that knight moves, really. So we're going with the knight move there. Just do a few and then that's it. We'll see what happens. Same rook g1. It's actually moving the rook. But a human with the kings being stuck in the middle here is going to want to get it to safety, isn't it? I think they'll be looking for a trade. But we did say the knight could come here and attack the queen, so I don't really see what the problem is with that. So they would attack the queen without a shadow of a doubt. Queen e7, so it's taking its ass all the way back to e7. So that's more realistic. So it's giving us a bit of a more advantage. I just want to see if it does kingside castle or queenside castles because of these pawns. And if it queenside castles, then we'll know for future. Let's maybe focus on giving the option of castling king or queenside. Okay, so rook g1. It's going for rook g1 again. But I'm thinking human side, not this rook thing which looks like it's not doing anything. Humans want to be impactive with what they're doing. King is in the center of the board. You would think it would want to get it over to the other side where it's got at least a half decent castle. Bishop's blocking that diagonal at the minute. and the queen is all jammed in as well, so it's not really getting into any play. You'd think maybe it might say, well, let's go and attack their knight. But the king is so airy. Would it even think about probably trying to get across here and do this sort of stuff? Because it's in the middle of the board. That's not a good position for it. Can anything attack it at this moment in time? They might be thinking, well, I'm safe here. Wouldn't want the queen on the back. Would be concerned about the bishop. So I think he'll probably just bring the bishop here to get this bishop off the back, supporting the knight whilst it's getting its feet. And it likes this knight c5 thing, man. Give it up with knight c5. It's getting on my nerves. Crikey. Alright, so he wants to jump here with the knight c5. Is it looking, what is he looking to do? Knight c5, so he's got this. It looks like he's going for this, but that doesn't look like it's doing much. And so the key thing for me is not gone and castled. It's not focused on castling at all, in any way, shape. It's saying there's stuff to be done. I have to be clear what the knight's doing. It can go here. Where's it going from there? And now this is saying knight d4, which is this one, which is attacking the knight, which we said earlier. Yeah, so I think he's moving the knight so that maybe the bishop takes the knight or something, if it's jumping there. Anyway, we'll go with the knight thing, so we know that. We thought they would have done that earlier. Oh, in fact, that bishop move was my move, wasn't it? That's because they were going with this rook thing. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think a human would do that. So that's why we chose this. There, that makes sense. And we moved there, and they've moved the knight. And h5? h5? No, not a fan of that. I'm not doing that move. Not when we've made the choice. Computer's gone with the queen, blah, 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 blah. And now we're in this position here. We either take this off the board, we either move the knight, or we castle. That's what I'm plumping for. Now taking with the knight, queen could come here. It's in the center of the board. Does it really want to be there? I would plump for just taking the knight. Still showing minus thingy, so it's like e takes, because it wants to bring the pawns back in line because it was doubled. Bishop can now attack the bishop because it would get it for free. It's getting ours for free. So the knight is going to e4, as we said. Excellent, right, okay. So we're still minus 1.2, so it's nothing major, you know, but it's better than it was, and I think we'll stop there. So that had play, and it was just basically utilizing a little bit more vision and looking at the space that the opponent had created for us. We didn't utilize that. So we castled, which it doesn't like. We've broken that down. I'm really comfortable with what we're learning here at the minute. And they pushed the pawn, and we pushed the pawn. We pushed the wrong pawn. It should have been the h5. We've gone through that. And now they're going for lockdown city. In my head, I'm feeling fairly comfortable with this position because, as we mentioned, their pieces are no longer going to get into this area. And yeah, so that was my defensible rationale. And they start coming forward with the pawns, which reduces even more space for their pieces to get into the area. So basically locking down the area. So their pieces can't really get in there. We did have a concern that the bishop or the queen would be able to do some sort of magic somehow and get round the back. But the computer's not thinking that really. It's just saying it's plus 0.8, which is good for us. So they start moving their knight, and we bring our queen across. And they've got the x-ray through with the bishop. We block down with the pawn. Yeah, it might feel like dry chess, you know, okay, there's nothing exciting happening. But for me, this feels like I've gone back home when I first started playing chess. This is how I played that lockdown sort of Stonewall type of game. Really dry. I wanted to break away from it, but because I understand the rudiments of locking down, I've got many stories to tell about it. Not saying it's right or wrong, as you can see, the computer laughed in our faces, but the opponent, playing as a human, played human moves in their eyes, and they didn't falter from playing as a human, so it was more realistic a game. So we captured. Doesn't like the capture. Okay, we'd like to look at these dips. Knight c5 again. This damn knight c5. God, it just wants to get in there, doesn't it? Or is there something else? Okay, we captured, so right, maybe we shouldn't have captured. Maybe a bit urgent. Pawn could defend it, so we didn't probably need to lose any sleep. Also, the bishop would defend if the knight came here, so the bishop probably would take. Okay, fair enough. I can wear it. We'll see if we can utilize this in the next game, but every game is different in chess, so it's just a matter of being able to pull this type of learning back into the next games or the games future tense. This will probably never happen again for another 3 years, so it's being able to pull it out like that. And they capture, so it's really a full lockdown situation here. And now we're thinking, let's try and hit the back end of the snake, because this is the head of the snake. If we can hit the back end of the snake and maybe create some sort of openings. And they've gone full-fledged, and we did have the option of doing a bit of an en-passant thing. So we wanted to make things open a little bit so we can try and do something. Computer doesn't like that at all. It's not a fan of that. It's saying queen d8. It's bring the queen all the way back. Come on. No, no. I would rather open the spaces up. I'll have that plus 1.2 for the opponent. Yeah. So created some space, and the opponent's done the human thing, looking down with the pawn, so it's now drawish. And now we're trying to find a little space to get our knight across. Yeah, and in, just to try and get some activity going and get the bishop here. So feeling fairly comfortable with that, and we went through the story of their rook coming down here. We thought initially the queen was coming to attack here, but then they've got a 2-on-1 here. So we supported with our pawn. Doesn't seem to be laughing too much at that. Then we start bringing the knight up, and then bring the knight into a nice position. So small incremental steps now, trying to just break past. Initially we were going to be taking, but then we're thinking, well, it looks a little bit better for them because they've got these bishops here which are basically in lockdown positions. If we started opening up for them, then we're giving them that space to start using the power base that is the bishops. So they captured, and we captured inward. That was our plan all along, to just try and keep these pawns blocked down as best possible. Nice discover check on the rook. Again, giving them something to think about, which gives us the opportunity to put a check on the king. And it's only minus 0.6 as well. I would think, you know, with the glorious movement that we just saw, I'm like thinking, oh, this should be okay. But it does have options. But we did break down the options, and we would have checks and stuff like that on the opponent. So I would have thought it would have, yeah, so it's now minus 6.3. So it was the queen move that was wrong. So the king f2. So it's saying, be brave and move the king to f2. And then I don't really have much play, because I'm not taking pawns here. I have to work a bit, probably dance the bishop here or something, just to try and attack their queen. So yeah, would have been a bit more drawish potentially. Yeah, so I'm just going to do it. Go like that, and watch me make this duff move now. Bring the queen here. Alright, and so it's not too duff. And it's saying rook a3. Bring the rook here. I don't like playing against the computer though, so I don't think it's going to work too well. It's going to be a draw. Where would I go? Opposite their queen, but I'm not taking anything unless I'm going for a sacrifice to get some checks on the king, but the bishop can defend. Nothing major. Could bring the queen here. That's a bit funky though, isn't it? And it's not really giving us anything. I'm going to bring it here, see what it does. Still minus 0.1, so it's not frowning at it. Sit the bishop here. Again, it's not attacking anything. It's just like draw land. Could just bring the bishop here and just act as a blocker. But our queen is in the middle, probably going to get hit. Is the bishop managing some nice squares? Nothing really to capture, you see, so it doesn't look too dangerous. And the queen is managing this square. Yeah, so it looks like it could have been drawish, really, based off of that maneuver if they moved the king. But they didn't do that, so it gave us the option to actually go and get their rook off the board. And then from that point on, as we noticed, because we took our time, if we were moving quick, we would have probably lost the rook. But looking at the position on the board, we can put a check on their king. And again, still assess him, can put a check on their king again. We expected the rook to come and block maybe, but it hasn't done. So now we can bring the bishop up just to support the rook, so the queen's not taking. They still come down now because they're kind of more to set to go that direction, attacking our bishop. So we can put a check on the king, and then it looks like a checkmate there. Yeah, looking for another long play game. And get some practicing. Position. Checks, captures, threats, support, blocking. Back to position. Oh, 90 minute. 90 plus 3. Like this player's going to play for that long. Signal's already gone. Oh, it's come back. Ah, dear me. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, let's just attack the pawn. Sit the pawn in the center. Stick with what we're used to doing, even if we don't like it, but we're used to it. You may as well just stick with it, rather than trying to do something new. At least you're going to be familiar with the thing you don't like. That's what I'm talking myself into. Let's just bring the knight here and support the pawn. There's particular types of starting points or openings that you're definitely just not going to feel good with. You just don't like the position, you don't like the pattern, you know. It's like driving a left-handed car when you're right-handed, you know, that type of thing. You're just not going to feel too comfortable about it. Doesn't mean you can't drive a left-handed car, because you can physically, but your awareness and your senses are all thrown to pot. You'll still be able to achieve a result, but it's not going to be a pleasant journey. This type of opening here for me, this is what I'm talking about, it is I don't like it, but I'm trying to make it more comfortable for myself. As best possible anyway. Nice position, but the knight's there, and the temptation is to jump in. Temptation jump here, but we can't do that, so we may as well castle. We've got plenty of time as well, so really this is a proper classical. 90 minutes and plus 3. So they're actually going here. That's going to allow us to do this, but it's only attacking the queen. And does it have any defense really? And plus, he's going to have loads of pieces there on this pawn. We do have the rook though. We take. He takes. We think we're clever jumping here. His queen's not going to take the pawn, but he'll just probably maybe just go and attack it. Then we jump back again, maybe. Let's take. Let's follow it up to that two-step calculation. And yes, it's moving the same piece twice, but we're hoping we can just come back again, or maybe cause a bit more trouble if he's not attacking it. So he has gone to the spot that we said, and he has got protection from his king, so we're not going to do any fancy business. And I think we're just coming back. Just dishevel the queen a little bit from supporting the pawn. Now we can jump here, putting a 2-on-1 here. Bishop's defending, obviously. This pawn's probably going to just touch it. Hide in the corner, being a bit of a nuisance. But they're castling. Anything else? We could jump this side. Get the bishop out, attacking the pawn again. Which way is best? Which way is best? This way, it's coming towards the king, but he does have that option of doing this, which then slows the process down. So I'm actually going to go this way, with potential for bringing the bishop to put more pressure on the pawn. He may just look to come and attack the knight. Options and choices. This poor pawn is probably going to get taken at some point. So lots of moves, but as I said right at the very start, didn't really like the movement of this type of opening. Well, they're getting our thing, they're getting our knights, they're being fancy. We've got a 2-on-1 here though, so he's going to lose his queen if he does. No, he won't, because the bishop's taken. But positionally, that should be better for us, shouldn't it? So we're going to take with the check, and then take the bishop. Now his king's a little bit airy. That might be a benefit to us. He might look to scare us off, but we've got the check on the king. We're stopping them from castling this side, stopping them from castling this side. I think there's got to be a threat of some sort. Maybe they're just bringing the queen back. It's even Stevens at the minute materially. Positionally, I've got to favour myself here. But these positions have been lost or drawn, so we're not going to get carried away. Simple check on the king first, maybe. And now we have to move the queen somewhere. Can't go here because the knight's protecting. So it's not straightforward. Could go here though and get a checkmate. Well, it's not a checkmate either, but we'll get the rook off the board. Because the king has to go here. So then we'll go here. And he has to go there. And then that's going to be a mate, because the queen has to come and defend, and the rook can take, or the queen can take. So we've got there fairly smoothly. And they proposed to take back. It's a long play game. You got plenty of time to think of moves, so I'm going to have to say no, I'm afraid. Because I like the way we played the game. I like the way they've played the game, giving us these nice positions. And I'm monologuing, and oh, thank you, that'll work. Checkmate. On the search for a long play game again. 13, wow, 25 and 0. Let's go with the 25 and 0, see if we, yeah, okay. 0 increment. 25 minutes. Let's attack the pawn. Wonder what story this game's got for us. Each game's got its own individual story. I'm going to attack the pawn here. And hopefully I can rewrite the stories to make them even better stories. So every journey within chess, every game within chess for myself, it's enhancing the mantra that we've built and we're working on. Simple capture here will not do us wrong at all, I don't think. Takes with either pawn. One's going to weaken the king's structure even more. One's going to, okay, weaken the king. So we will attack the knights, just keeping it nice and simple, straightforward. And we will take the knight off the board if it's still left there. I know the computer frowns on it, saying, well, you've got 2 bishops, you need to keep the 2 bishops. I like to take it if we're allowed to take it in this position. and he's not letting us do that. So the next thing for us is to take it with this one, just to dishevel the pawns. So we've got the double pawn situation. We've struck first blood. Fairly happy. Tiny concern is that obviously he's got this half open file here, but let's not lose any sleep over that just yet. He's got a bit of work to actually make that work for them. So I think they'll try the cheapie, and then the bishop will take it off the board, because they'll be looking to do this type of maneuver. So they won't be happy with this bishop being here. How do they get rid of it? How do they get rid of it? Exact move. But it doesn't have any protection on it, so we can take it, and that's still going to be a bit too slow. It might give them the tempo to get to that position, but we can just move the king out of the way. So now it's just attacking us. We're not going to come here because the knight is there. We can always come back to where we started. Or is there something better? I think there's something a little bit better. Let's just take time and just put a check on the king first. So he comes here on a dark square. We don't have a dark square bishop because it's gone bye-bye. It's not doing that. So we could cause a bit of disruption. Just take the bishop off the board. Now we do have an X-ray through, so he's not going to move his knight anytime soon. Let's bring the knight up. So he's probably shifting the king to somewhere. Probably this way. They usually go this way with the king, don't they? So that then he can get his rook supporting. Not doing that, he's attacking the pawn. So he's coming down, attacking a pawn. I was thinking of jumping in here, attacking this pawn. And he's going to get two pawns. We may as well do this and just defend itself. There's no rush. It's got 0 increment, but we've got 23 minutes. So he's moved to the other side of the board. So this bishop is going to go here. So we're planning to do this, but that means his knight can move. If we went like this, his knight will be hitting. Got a dark square bishop. If we went like this, just to get doubled. Seems like good basic chess. Let's do that. Knight can't attack it, the bishop can't attack it. Gives us time to move this rook here for the basics of... Oh, it can attack it from there. Okay, right, fair enough. So we can move here. We're still on a white square, attacking the knight. The bishop's defending. Dancing little knights. Let's go here. And then still look to try and own the file with the rooks. The shock and surprise. The power of the knights. Go to places you just don't expect. So he doesn't need to panic. He can just move his bishop off the line now and get the rook here. Obviously, I don't want them to do that, but that's potentially what's going to happen. This knight's asleep at the minute, so it's potentially looking to swing here. Not sure if it's coming back. What's this rook doing? It's attacking this pawn twice with the knight. Look how fancy that is. Yeah, that's pretty arty, isn't it? And while I'm talking, I'm thinking, well, what can we do? We could bring the knight here, but it's just blocking. And it's blocking. So I don't think the rook is going to take the pawn, because the knight will take. So it gives us time to hit the rook with a smaller piece. Potentially, it's not winning a tempo because we're not taking here because the bishop's defending. But potentially it means now we will get to own the file with the rook. Unless he sacrifices the rook. But as you can see for myself, I'm trying to slow down my thinking because we have played a lot of these quick blitzy type games, and we will continue playing them even though we know the bad side of playing those sort of things. But if I can mix in longer, slower thinking games, Surely that will help. So I'm just going to bring the rook here. Obviously the bishop is going to be doing this type of stuff, or this. Probably more so this one. Just allowing the rook to manage this square. But then if it does move there, then the knight gets taken. So I'm assuming it's going to be this, because he wants to keep protecting the knight. Or else we'll be able to take the knight off the board with the rook. So it's developing. Oh, don't do anything that I say, do they? But what they've done is they've. Oh, but we lose the rook anyway. Yeah, if we think we're being arty and taking the knight, he comes down, he's got a check on our king. And we take the rook. We have more pieces than them though, hold on. 1, 2 minor pieces at the minute. Yep, so if we take, we've taken a minor piece off the board. He then takes our rook. We take his rook. Bishop takes the rook. Something's telling me we've got... no. Yeah, we'll have 2 knights versus a bishop and a rook. I thought we were up then, but we're not. So I think it's going to be a simple just rook taking. We need to get fancy. I'm trying to see if there's something else, but I don't think there is. If we hit this knight with the pawn, hit the knight with the pawn, where is he going? And he takes, and we take. Not really going anywhere. Mind you, this pawn is going to be going from the bishop, isn't it? No, it's not. What am I on about? I'm losing the thread here. Hit the pawn, hit the knight. I think we hit the knight. There's loads of protection on the rook here. If he takes, we just take. I believe that is right. Is it even better taking here because we're going to be taking with the knight, then we're going to be actually attacking the pawn. But because he can easily defend with the bishop, that's my concern. Seems like a bit of a waste. Yeah, just take with the rook. He's taken with the rook. Any fancy business before we do it? Takes the knight. And the rook just takes the pawn. Take the knights. No, it's that 2 rook thing again. It's that 2 rook thing again. Yeah, the bishop and the rook against the 2 knights situation. So where's he going? Could go and get defended here. Can go here. He can't go. Well, he can, but he gets taken. Gets taken. Gets taken. So he's got these spaces that he can move to. Have I covered every space? Because I know in evaluation I don't always find the spaces that the pieces can move to. So it's a flimsy owning of the file because the other rook has gone now. So he has gone here. This knight really isn't in the game. We really wanted to try and get it in here. I don't think they'll allow us that. So he'll be looking to attack our rook. His pawn's a bit flimsy. Bring the knight here. He'll be looking to attack our rook. We'll just bring it back down. Onto the white square maybe. And then does he have some fancy arty business? Might have to work for it a little bit. Fingers crossed, that's good. King's a little bit on the back. Space. Yeah, always attacking. Does it look any different? Not really. Let's just move it back to the white square. If we can get this active. Don't know if it does anything though, because the bishop's blocking everything here. Knight's got a bit of an attack position on their knight, hitting the pawn, but as we said, the bishop can defend. So lots of mini little stories going on. Don't really like my king being hemmed in, so giving them spaces on the dark squares. He has to release the hound, either this way or this way. He needs to get the rook out. I don't know if he'll go for an exchange, but he needs to release the rook. Oh, it's just my brain went, oh, he's going for a cheapie again. Okay, so he's coming here. Let's just go here anyway with the knight. Has to release the hound. I did say that. I don't know what kind of hound this is. And obviously not taking here because the bishop is here. I'm just feeling that it feels like a nice position for the knight to do something. We're potentially looking to attack the knight, but I don't think they'll be interested. I think they'll be doing something, I don't know, dancing away. Alright, so he's gone protecting the pawn. Maybe looking to just push type thing. And trying to sneak his bishop around here somehow as well. Right, this pawn's got no protection at the minute. Going to attack their knight. Seeing as he's not released the hound. As we said, I don't think they're going to be taking. I think they're going to get a bit arty and start dancing with the knight. Don't forget this pawn is being under attack as well. Captured? Well, I'm shocked. Right, okay, so this is one of those quid pro quo things where it could be a positive for us or it could be a negative. Because if I simply take with the rook, then I'm saying, well, the rook's owning the file, but by itself it's not really owning it, jack. So we could take with the pawn and we've got like a passer, which potentially then could push here, lean on the king a little bit. I don't know how good that's going to be because he's going to have his own little passer, well, semi-passer. Break the story down, take with the pawn. I know that for, I think there was 3 or 4 games in the open games that I played last season in the tournament. In those games, it was a simple matter of actually taking with the pawn rather than taking with the major piece. And that's really got my craw to this day because I'm like thinking, that was so simple. But every game's different. So I'm going to use that knowledge and just see if this works. Just taking with the simple pawn. Takes. But then the knight hasn't got any protection. Takes. He could just come down and attack the knight. Comes down to attack the knight. We pushed, he just takes the knight off the board. And we push, king just comes across. So that's not going to work. If we take with the rook, it's the status quo of half decent position. We do have an extra pawn against them on this side. And they have an extra 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they have an extra pawn on this side. No, they don't. So in essence, we should be able to make it work, shouldn't we? Without actually taking with the pawn. I'm going to take with the rook on this occasion. Because this pawn is defending the knight if the rook's looking to come down here. I'm just thinking it's in front of our king area as well. We're kind of weakening any potential defences. That's my story, I'm sticking to it. But it's nice that I can come back on those experiences in the open tournament over the board, where, yeah, 3 of the games really it was a simple case of taking with the pawn or taking a pawn with a pawn rather than dancing with the king and just losing that tempo and then getting zugzwanged, that type of stuff. So yeah, it was nice to have that experience. Now we can just jam the bishop in. An x-ray through to the rook. So he's going to move this pawn, so he's attacking our... So we could do this just to get the pieces off the board. So attacking the rook, the bishop takes, rook takes. So it's a rook against the bishop. Doesn't have to do that though. What could he do? Could he do this? Boom. Oh, that's nothing fancy. I think we will do this. Because that move there is 1 move behind. Yeah, so he's gone for it, so we'll take. It's not to say we're winning anything because we've got the rook. I still term these things as flat pieces. So we're going to look to try and come here and take this pawn off. Because we're attacking the bishop, so it's obviously going to move. And their king is going to be mobilizing down here real quick, getting all these pawns off the board. So it's not a winning situation by any means. I'd have to start shifting here myself. He moves there. Do we take the pawn? Then he moves his king. I don't know if we're fast enough. 1, 2. He's actually attacking the rook. Going to take, attacking this pawn. Very mindful of need to get over tier. So it's 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, three moves for the king to come and protect this area, I believe. 1, 2, 3. 3 moves to actually hit this pawn, so we wouldn't be able to protect this pawn. If he goes 1, if we went 1, and then he goes 1, yeah, we're not fast enough. Look, they're taking advantage of it with the pawn. I'm gonna just push this pawn here and capture. We've lost these. The flat rook. Flat rook. It's not going to allow us take, and then our rook is hidden behind these. We can't even do that. It'll be take, boom, boom, trying to defend the pawns. Take. Do not bring it back here, dude. Bring it here. Oh, yeah, and here. And try and defend as best possible. Don't chase the king. Don't chase it. Just bring the rook down. That's what he wants, is for us to do that. Yeah, exactly. So, simple. Capture. Bring the rook here, maybe. I don't know. I think we're losing the pawn, man. Now we've got space to start pushing. He's going to want to get rid of this pawn, to push this pawn, to get his bishop to... Or maybe he's just going to come back here and take that pawn off the board. Yes, I started already. Let's hit bishop and the pawn. It's going to take... Oh, thanks. Another very interesting game indeed. Wow. Break down the analysis. Yeah, these are long games because that's what they are. That's the nature. That's what we want to practice, the long games, because of the open tournaments. And the games won't end up anything like what we're practicing here, but with me jumping in on other players' seeks within the anonymous area, these players look like basically they're staying on. You know, whereas if I put my own seeking for a long game, they just blob. And as we've seen the last 3 games we played, or is it 2 last 3 games, they've stayed on all the way through and playing very much like a human, which is really good for my experience. Let's look at the evaluation, because as we know within our games, there's always a lot of learning to do. Capture does not like the capture. What's he saying? Bishop c4. La, 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 la. Oh, it's going for it earlier. It's attacking the knight earlier. Alright. I'm a fan of that. I'll take that pawn. Yeah, I'm not sitting there waiting. No, if I can take that pawn, I'm taking the pawn. Yeah, I'm happy with that story. Happy with that story. Yep, no problems. Don't know what magic they're seeing, because we do that eventually. Yeah, no. Is it kind of saying, well, make the move now or something? Let's just have a look at it quizzically. Alright, and this player moved their knight because they didn't want the knight being taken, so we're going to move the knight like they did. And we took. Yeah, so happy. I'm happy with that. Yeah. Yes, they've done it a bit earlier. I don't think it caused us too much heartache during the game. Captured, we attacked the knights and took. So principle is still the same as far as I'm concerned, but as you can see with the gauge bar, it's going, well, you know, you've not got a real advantage now. Yeah. So it's a timing thing. Basically, it's saying it's a timing thing. You might have the principles under wraps, but it's when you do them. It's that move order type situation. You know, it's like, oh, well, if I'd have done it this way, I would have been quids in. That's chess. You can know all the patterns in the world, but it's that move order. You'll feel comfortable doing it if you're understanding what your story is. Like, I understand my story of the pawns. I'm saying, well, I don't really want to have a lockdown situation or give them the advantage of getting a pawn break. I don't like the lockdowns anymore, really. I can play that way if I force myself to, and if the opponent's playing in such a way that it makes me think, oh, I better not take the pawns here because it's a bit odd, a bit like in one of the earlier games where they were pushing all their pawns down the flank. So in those sort of situations, I just think I might have missed the tempo in developing my opening, which could have prevented that type of situation. And in that game, the queen could have just come out earlier and put a check on the king. So little things like that is going to help to build up my resolve in terms of dealing with those types of openings. Again, I'm going to take this on the chin as well, with the bishop coming out earlier. You know, it's saying bring the bishop out earlier, and it gives you king space to castle, which is kind of what we normally would do, but well, not normally, we like to give our king some space for castling. In this particular game here, I'm fairly comfortable with what we did, which is taking the pawn off the board to try and make some space, try and manage the space around the center. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. It's not egregiously bad. Okay, so we castled, and we did and ah, thinking, well, you know, they might just start opening here. But then they did this strange move, and we're thinking, well, are they trying to go for the cheapie still, just trying to get the bishop out of the way? But it just didn't feel like it gave them an improved position on the board. So then we decided eventually to put a check on the king and then just capture and support the pawn. So all simple stuff, and now we're trying to own the file with the rooks, as we mentioned. So it looks like it's in our favour at the minute, the gauge bar. Moved out of the way. Oh, it's not frowned on the pawn move. It's not frowned on the pawn move. It's saying knight d2. I don't think we're into any of that, are we? Bringing this knight round. Did we talk about this knight coming here? I think we did briefly. It's probably thinking of coming here and attacking the rook or something like that. Yeah, but no. No, it's not frowned on that pawn move. I keep flicking. Well, it has in a way, because it's plus 3.2 and then it dropped to 2.8. But I'm not going to sniff at that. Alright, so this exchange here now, let's see what happens. Yeah, it doesn't like the rook taking. It is saying take with the pawn. E takes d5. God, I think it was a bit later when we were talking about that, wasn't it? Was it? Let me see. 1, 2. Did it come up again? No, it didn't. It must have been that point. Oh no, it was here. It was this point. Yeah, we were debating whether we take with the pawn or take with the rook, but it is saying take with the rook. It's happy with taking with the rook there, but this is really going to stick in because of my real life experience with it. Right, rook takes, and then doesn't like that. It drops 1 point. It's just saying take with the pawn. But for the life of me, realistically, right, I mean, these two pawns here look fairly deadly. I know we've got a pawn to block off. It dropped a point, but it wasn't super bad. No, I don't know if I would do it still. No, I think I would. No, I'm not happy with these pawns, but maybe they're saying because you've got the pawn majority on this side, you don't need to worry too much. I don't know how it's going to play out. Say knight d7 because it's in trouble. Knight h4. If it starts getting arty, then I'm going to lose interest. So it's going to here to try and come to here. We did cover that sort of things. No, let's just stick with what we did. It dropped a point, but it's nothing major. I'm gonna wear that. I'm gonna wear it. Then we bring the knight across, bring the rook down. Oh, is that? Oh no, I thought it dropped. Then it's gone up. It's gone up. Gone up. It's okay with that. 3.3, and it's looking fairly happy at this point. Yeah. Is there any dips here? Because we could have done something wrong. Yeah, so we were worried that the king was going to. We're definitely. I just want to have a look at this because where was it? It's when they moved their pawn down at the side of the king. So we're here, pushes the pawn. Yeah, so it's tempting to go and hit the king, get the rook up here. Doesn't drop. It's gone up even higher, hasn't it? Oh, it went up higher. We went down, it stayed the same. Interesting. I'm thinking it's coming down, it's just going to gobble all these pawns up, and my rook is kind of stuck on the back. King f1. Is it saying we're fast enough? We were deliberating whether we were. We'd get free to there. He'd have to come down and down. If he did come down. It's not showing the move, is it? Rook h8. Saying. Oh, I don't know about that, man. Oh, I don't know about that, man. Let's bring the king here, because we would have done that. And then we thought they were going to be coming here like this. Then we're coming here like this. And we're on a dark square, so his bishop's going to be chomping at the bit to get us. C5, it's mentioning. It's actually hitting the pawn. Takes. Bishop takes. On this pawn. Ooh. Rook C7. Oh, next ray through to the king. Nice. King B5. I think we can take at this point. We'll just take it. And he takes. Right, okay. Fair enough. So we were fast enough. There was continuations. Didn't need to worry too much about that. Alright, let's just get back to that. Yeah, my panic thing was down here, coming down. But it didn't drop too far. Yeah, 7.3 is still good. So I think in my head, I'm still going to be doing, I would be thinking that same way of not rushing to put a check on the king with the rook, because I probably wouldn't make it work the way the computer made it work just then. It looked simple, but from my experience, you start throwing the rook around the back because it's so flat, then it ends up getting not trapped, but it can't stop the pawns from pushing down or something or the other with the support of the bishop, just from my experience. So I'm happy that at least it looks like we did okay defending and blocking off the potential threat. And that's all she wrote on that one. Excellent training games.